Hello everyone, my name is Pacha and welcome to another episode of Raven Creek Park, and today with a very almost special episode of Raven Creek Park because we're building for an animal that is one of the reasons I made this park in the first place, and it's the reason why one of the reasons why the park is where it is, everything like that. If you have, you have seen the thumbnail, you have seen the intro, you know we are building for the North American beaver. And yeah, the North American beaver is not only an amazing rodent, but he is also the state animal of the US state my zoo is located in. Of course, as longtime viewers know, my zoo is placed or is located in Oregon. And Oregon's national animal, Oregon state animal, is the North American beaver, because Oregon was basically the hub, the center of the North American fur trade back in the 1900s. From here, all the beaver fur was coming to Europe and through the rest of the young USA. So beavers were just abundant in Oregon because of all of its rivers and lakes and stuff like that. So it only made sense to make the beaver the national animal of Oregon, and it is to this day. And I think it's to this day one of the places where you find the most natural occurring instances of North American beavers, if I made this right. And to celebrate that animal that I wanted to build for such a long time, but I simply didn't have the chance or the idea of how to integrate it, we are drawing inspiration from one of what I think one of the best North American beaver habitats in the USA, and that is the beaver habitat from the real world Cleveland Zoo. And if you have ever searched for inspiration for beaver habitats or ever seen something about a beaver habitat, you probably also have seen that exhibit from the Cleveland Zoo, and it is one of the best beaver exhibits in the world, because it is a very special exhibit in that sense that it is a shared exhibit, a multi-species exhibit. The beavers don't share this exhibit just only with some fishes, but also with the Mexican wolf, which is when you first hear it, a very interesting fact. But what you see in the background there, this step up to the upper plains there, is where you would find in the real world Cleveland Zoo, you would find a habitat for Mexican wolves. And nowadays they can't reach the beavers anymore. They made the distance between the beaver pool and the Mexican wolf area a little bit higher. But back in the day when this exhibit opened, the wolves actually could get into the beaver pool and go for a swim, go for a drink. And the beavers just dealt with it. They had their ways to escape through their with their lodges, which we'll talk a little bit about later. And they just cohabitated, and I think they just updated it to be higher to make really sure that the beavers and the wolves couldn't interact with each other, because you don't want to have a dead beaver in your pool in your zoo when kids are showing up. But we will not build for Mexican wolves, and you probably have already seen it a couple times in the background during the speed build, or you will definitely see it later in the real-time part. We are still doing a shared exhibit, so to say, because there's actually two different exhibits that are just look like they are one, but we are not doing the wolf because we already have our wolves in this park. We are going for the European Wiesent, which you can briefly saw in the background there, lying down there. The European Wiesent, I was about to say, one of the amazing animals from the Europe pack. And I should have said, this is not a pack about the Europe pack, this is a pack about the North America animal pack. I'm totally not doing the normal thing here that I'm building only for the new animals while the pack's out. No, I'm building for one of our older animals, which was, I think, released 3 years ago. Could be wrong. The North American Animal Pack, I think, was 3 years ago, and is still regarded one of the best animal packs that Frontier gave us, just due to its diversity in climate and biomes and such. But yeah, this week, not animal from the Eurasia pack. I said Europack earlier, I think, but yeah, the Eurasia pack, but an animal from the North America pack, just because it fits into the plans that I have for this area. Last week, we built for the wild boar, and I said, they live in a dry riverbed. Why is it dry? Because, you will find out later, and today is the day we find out why it is dry, because the beavers actually dammed that water source over here, this lake or the stream, whatever you want to call it. We will build the Beaver Dam in a moment after we finished these railings for our guests here in the viewing area, and that's why the river dried up where the boars live. A little bit of a narrative for the guests to experience why they go through the zoo. And yes, later we will see in the episode after the Wiesent what is at the end of the river, so to say, which animal lives there in the forests. And you keep stay tuned for that. Definitely, it will be a cool idea if everything works out. But today we are talking about the beaver. We are talking about the Cleveland Zoo exhibit. And I have to say, this is not a total one-to-one recreation. It's a little bit changed here and there. Especially, there's a lot more concrete and metal and steel in the Cleveland Zoo area of the zoo, and there's also not a dam that we are building right now. We're building now the Beaver Dam, and I changed it to use a little bit more natural materials, wood and stuff like that, corrugated metal later on for the roof, to make it a little bit more fit more into the area of our zoo. And I can always suggest that if you're doing recreations, or if you are taking inspiration from real life exhibits, and it doesn't really fit into the zoo, but you really want to use it because you really love the idea behind it, change some stuff out, make it fit more into the to the theme of our zoo. If your zoo is more of a natural zoo, more of a lower tier zoo, like mine is, for example, with some of their stuff, use more wood, use more corrugated metal, some more rusty metal, less concrete, less high-end products, basically, but keep the theme itself, or keep the idea itself, just change out what it's made of, basically. And this can already help, making it fit more into the whole idea of your area. And as I said, we are building the dam here now, and for some of you who don't know it, of course, the beavers don't live in a dam. I don't know if it's already widespread information, but when I was younger, I always believed that the beaver would live in a dam, and I think this is also partially to how some movies and other media portrays beavers, like that they build this dam and that they live in there. But actually, beavers build these dams to, of course, raise the water level in a certain area of a river. And then they build what is called a lodge, a beaver lodge, kind of like a little bit of a hotel. There are two types of lodges. There are either the water-bound lodges or the, what you call it, the bank-bound lodges. So lodges that are built into a river bank, at the edge of the river, into the soil, and that will be the one we are building later here. And of course, the water-bound lodges are the ones that the beavers construct on the lake. But in both cases, it is important that's also why they raise the water, that the entrance to that lodge is underwater. So predators can't get into the lodge where they also raise their young and everything, because the entrance is underwater. They would have to dive down and then up again to get into it. And even secure is the one that is under on the water, basically built on the water, where you just have to dive under the whole structure to get into the beaver area. And this is a really cool thing. And beavers are very unique in that. You see that now. I have to also, before I talk further, I have to excuse, there will be a lot of cuts in this video. This was one of the videos that nearly drove me insane. And you see now that all the materials swapped out. I had concrete first, now everything is wood. There was a lot of try and error with this exhibit. You should think it is very easily, because there's not much complicated stuff to it, but it took me quite a while to get everything working. But yeah, just so you know why there are a little more cuts this time around than usual, because I don't want to include every try and error that I include here, otherwise this video would twice as long. But yeah, let's keep going. Beavers, yeah, as interesting as they are with their whole beaver dam building, lodge building, and rerouting rivers, basically, and changing the environment, changing the natural look of their surroundings, and also helping the environment with creating rivers, with creating sanctuaries for smaller animals, for ducks species, for fish, all stuff like that. Is really interesting, and I thought about integrating a flowing river into this exhibit, also maybe using the enrichment item that the beavers got with their DLC, which is the beaver pool, where they, in 3 steps, 3 animations, slowly build a small dam and stop the river from flowing. But I decided against this because, for one, it definitely didn't have that space. I think this is, yeah, it looks big, but for what the beavers need, it is way too small. They can deep dive, I'm happy about that, they can do that, but land area and general water area are way too small and not enough for these beavers, which is a bit crazy. Actually, by the way, we are building now some, I don't know what to call in English, some bird shapes that you will put on the windows, so that wild birds don't fly into them. You know that, I think everyone knows these bird shapes, these fake birds, usually in the form of a bird of prey, so that other birds get scared off and don't fly into the glass. We just do that here so that because the glass isn't that visible from the other side, so that we don't have any casualties with wild birds. But yeah, back to why I decided against the beaver enrichment pool. For one, as I said, there isn't enough space for it, and I didn't want to make this exhibit even bigger than it already is. I think it's already a little bit too big for the amount of beavers we have. I didn't want to make it even bigger. And second of, there is a thing with beavers and running water that, I think shows why many zoos, or zoos I have seen, not always have running water in their exhibit. And that is because running water triggers beavers basically to build a dam. As soon as they hear running water, they need to build a dam. It is programmed into their being, basically. I don't know how to say it better. They need to repair whatever dam is already there, or they will build one. And scientists even tested these, and then with a recording of running water, which they placed on land, not even close to any water source. And wild beavers in the area that heard that recording gathered stones, mud, and wood, and brought it to that recording device, to that audio device, and started piling the mud and the wood and the stones onto that recording device until they couldn't hear it anymore. Which just shows, you can trick beavers into going anywhere as long as you have running water and they can hear it. They will just go there and try to to bring a stop to that noise for them, I guess. I think it triggers in them that it means that their dam could be destroyed, or that they need to build one in order to keep their homes, their lodges safe from any predators. It is really interesting that this is a natural thing that occurs in these animals. But speaking of lodges, we are now building the lodge. It is also from the Cleveland Zoo. They have a similar thing there. And actually in their zoo, the entrance is underwater. The animals need to dive under the water and then up again to get into the space, which is also, of course, visible from the visitor path. In our case, the entrance is not underwater. For once, it doesn't work with how diving works in this game, and they couldn't go down there and up again to reach that spot, because diving is an animation. It's not a way of traversing, so it sadly doesn't work. And second of all, they can't get into that area either. You will see later in the real-time part that there is a beaver in there, and that beaver is basically stuck there. I would have, you see now this wall, this entrance wall, I would have to delete the entire wall and make it one opening so that beavers could get out and in again. I don't know why their hitbox is so immensely huge, and if someone has an idea how I could get them out and in again without making this this area or this opening much bigger. A little bit bigger is okay, but yeah, I would basically have to delete the entire wall and make it one giant gate and one giant opening to make it traversable. And I don't want to do that. I still want to keep the idea of that is a lodge and the beavers use it to escape predators or whatever they need or to raise their young. So I decided to trap a beaver in there. Sadly, it's a poor beaver, I know, but he is fine. She's fine. She's fine. She has a bed there. She has water. She doesn't have food, sadly, but I will switch out with other beaver every now and then so that she doesn't have to suffer that much. But yeah, we're now in the final bits and pieces, the final minutes of this exhibit. As always, we are now starting with the foliage. And you will see in the real-time part and now here that I will do much foliage on the water edge that is connected to the Wiesen habitat, because of course we will build the Wiesen habitat in the next episode, and then I will do the foliage there. So the background of the beaver habitat can look a little bit barren for now, and I will only focus on the parts that are in the habitat itself, like the mud walls and the little island in the middle. But the rest of it will come next week, so keep that in mind if you're looking at some pictures, if you're looking at it in the intro bit and in the real-time part at the end, that the foliage will come just later. For now, it's only the beavers, and then once we build for the Wiesen, these parts will also be filled out. And of course, the Wiesen, I will use hot grass and other means of invisible barriers, basically, to separate the Wiesen from the beavers. They will have a dedicated spot where they can drink from the water, so they can come up to the shore and drink from it, but they can't access the beaver pool itself. They can't go for a swim in it, basically, because it's still two separate habitats in the means of this game. In real life, it would probably be one habitat. So they could interact more with each other because they are not dangerous to him. But yeah, in terms of this game, it's two separate ones. But yeah, I will now leave you to the rest of the video with some nice music from the creators of Planet Zoo and with the rest of the decoration part here. And then I will see you at the end in the speed build, not in the speed build, in the showcase. That is the speed build. We will see us in the showcase. And until then, have a great time. And yeah, enjoy the video. And there we are already in the real-time part. We are standing with our back to the boar exhibit from last week. There you can see it. And now we have this new part of our river run, of our river walk through over here. A little gate that connects to the boar exhibit's backstage over here, so guests can't get into it. And yeah, now we have our beaver exhibit here, with one beaver there. I don't know where the other one is, maybe swimming around somewhere. But yeah, I really like how it turned out. I really like how I managed to make this more in line with the rest of the zoo, with more natural materials, with more wood, less concrete. Of course, we have a lot of concrete over here, but it feels more natural than the real one, which has just concrete, plaster. There it is, plaster everywhere. And yeah, maybe I will add another. Hi Moose. I will add maybe an aviary over here. I think the real life one has has 2 aviaries on this side, so maybe I will also add an aviary for some waterfowl or something like that over here. But the main focus is of course the beavers, and subsequently also the Wiesent, where I don't know where it is at the moment. Maybe down here or up there. It can go all the way over to the boars, so it has quite a range and quite a lot of space. But yeah, we can of course also go down here. There's no path here, down here, but a path up here. But we can go down here and see the beavers swimming underwater, which I think is really cool. And I'm really happy that worked out in the space that I gave to them. And yeah, you see the dam more up close that they built to dry up the river. And yeah, we can follow the beaver, and we get to their lodge over here, which I said is not walkable, not reachable for them. Sadly enough. Oh, there he is. Yeah, I mean, if you look at that, it's just a cool diorama basically with the beavers in the foreground, the bison, the Wiesent in the background, and once this is everything done over here, it will look even cooler. And I'm just happy that it worked out. But yeah, they can't get into this lodge, but hey, we have someone in here. The poor little one that is stuck in here for presentation purposes. Yeah, sadly, they can't leave. No one can help him. He is stuck in here for some horrible Pacha experiments that I'm doing with him. But I'm still happy how it turned out, how this space works with the entrance here, almost underwater. And then you have almost this burrow over here for the beavers, where you could see them sleeping or caring for their kids, for their little ones, basically. And on top of here is the normal river edge with all the plant life and stuff like that. And yeah, you saw it briefly at the end of the video. I made this little outcrop, this little space here, and that is for our sponsors page. Some people maybe watch this video are on this page. I had this before in our bear habitat, bear exhibit, but now it's over here. So these are people who I either use a lot of blueprints from, or who help me during my streams, or otherwise with ideas, with tips and tricks for this area. And yeah, also some people I personally really enjoy. There's 2 times lighter here. I just see that. That's not a problem. I just have to move him. Yeah, 2 times lighter. I just saw it. But yeah, that's not the focus of the habitat. We are here for our beavers. And yeah, what I have to say, I really like how it turned out. It feels artificial. Yes, it definitely is supposed to feel artificial, but it still also feels natural, I think, with all the plant life around it. And yeah, I'm really happy how it turned out, and that it looks the way it is, and all the light coming down, and that is, yeah, you can see everything. You are in the shadow, they are in the light, so really nice contrast. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did, and enjoyed all the weird beaver facts and stuff like that. And yeah, we are finally have built for our state animal over here, and I hope I was able to do them justice with this exhibit. And yeah, I hope I see all of you next week again for the next video for the Wiesent. You already know now what you expect. And that until then, you stay safe, you have a great time. And then I see you next week. Bye bye, everyone.